Hello, everybody. It is the morning of the 7th of November, 2019. I'm Roy Potter. And all of you who were trying to see if I could get that live upload noticed that I could not do so. It would not do it. I'm beginning to believe more and more all the time that this is something going on outside of my internet connection. I mean, we have a problem with the internet connection here, but I'm beginning to think that something even more than that. There's no excuse for. First of all, I tried the Wi-Fi, and then I tried hardwired in, and it still wasn't going. So at any rate, I apologize for giving you the false alarms there. That they weren't. They want to stop another. Why they don't just take my channel down? I don't know. I don't know. Instead, they want to get me frustrated. But I'm beginning to think it's something more than just my internet connection that's happening here. Okay, the reason why I'm coming on is because, of course, the first order of business is, and I'll have it back up in a few minutes, the countdown to the live stream tonight on Nightcap, where we're going to have our panel discussion on unseen realities. And I think you're going to find it interesting. So that was, of course, one thing I wanted to do. And again, I apologize for the difficulties I'm using my OBS and getting up. But I don't believe that it's something inherent in the computer itself. Something is going on. The phone connection here is a little strange. It's probably not real good right now. It's probably not real good, but at least I can get my apology out there. Tonight will be from a different location, so hopefully they don't have any. If it is somebody interfering, it will go away. We'll see. Okay, I needed to come on a little bit. Good morning, everybody. As you hear, hello, headlines with the voice. I just heard your upload just a few minutes ago on Zaid, I guess is his name. Yeah, this coup has been going on for a long time, and we're all waiting for this thing to hammer down. So let me just go over a couple things since I'm on. And again, I don't know how good the connection is. We all know about the situation with Amy Robach on CBS, or I'm sorry, on ABC. We all know about this now that she knew about this entire thing with Epstein and his connections to Clinton, etc., for almost 3 years now, if not longer, and that she was told not to do anything with it. So she was willing to save her career, save her position, and I hate to bring this down on her, but it's just a fact, and I think everybody knows it. She was willing to save her career, more willing to save her career than the lives of young women and children. And we wonder where our values are. We wonder what's happened to our country. That same thing is happening in our IC, in our intelligence community, in the deep state. Even if people want to do the right thing, they won't because they're selfish about their own well-being. Now, I realize that you need to come from a position of strength, but where are the people of conscience? Where are the people of righteousness? We're finding out that they're very few and far between. What's really trouble is that ABC didn't not only did not pursue the investigation of that because the IC and the deep state didn't want to pursue that investigation. Okay, I hope you understand that again. But in addition, when this person, this whistleblower, this person that got this, as you know, got hired by CBS, they were just fired from CBS because they found out who they were, and CBS fired. So CBS, I'm very disturbed that Catherine Herridge has gone there. I can understand why, but wow. So CBS isn't going to pursue the story either. Part of the story now is the cover up of the mainstream media, which again I point out is a part of the intelligence community in the deep state. We're also learning that Stephanopoulos, I can't prove it, but it's kind of out there right now, that Stephanopoulos knew, who used to be the White House, was on the staff of the Clinton White House. Um, we're also finding out that he probably had something to do with squashing this whole thing at ABC, and it was obviously to protect the Clintons in the deep state. So you see who we're up against. We're up against evil, evil people that are willing to do anything, including the trafficking, the abuse, the sexual assault, murder of women and children in order for them to succeed in their plans. Thanks, Artai. I got online, but I'm not on my computer. I was planning on doing some other things. Well, headlines with a voice saying CIA whistleblower's attorney is pushing for Gina Haspel to testify. Yeah, not only that, but they're trying to get Gina Haspel to shut down or to get help to protect the whistleblower's identity, even though we're pretty sure, of course, now that we know who's at least involved. Yes, I know. Thank you for everything you do, Nancy. You're very, very good. Everybody should pay attention to your place there on Headlines with a Voice on YouTube. So at any rate, I just wanted to bring that up this morning real quick so that you know that I am upset about these things. Uh, Everybody here, ABC, CBS, the Deep State, the IC, even of course members of Congress, because they're all, and when I say Congress, I mean House of Representatives and the Senate. All of these people are one way or another compromised, and for CBS and ABC to shut down the story on this whole pedophile thing with Jeffrey Epstein, not looking into the suicide and all, not really digging into it. It just shows you that they're unwilling to investigate the most heinous pedophile network that's probably ever existed in humankind's history, in mankind's history, is indicative of who these people are. They are the enemy of mankind. They are our enemy. Now I have to tie that in also. Again, you know how I feel about this ambush and murder of women and children in Mexico. I know a lot about those people, and I said it the other night, and I just want to reiterate, okay? There have been a lot of accusations made to deflect off of what's happening in Mexico and how dangerous it is. A lot of things have been made. Stories have been blown out of proportion on these women's association, and there wasn't one between Nixon and Renee and them. And also they're also being called part of a violent cult. I'm talking about the Barons and the Langfords. There could be nothing further from the truth. If you have a person in your family that runs into some type of mental problem or whatever and goes out and kills some people, that doesn't make you part of a violent family. It means that person was violent. Guilt by association is always what the left tries to do. So I told you the story about Ervil LeBaron. If you want to look it up online, you can. The fact of the matter is, Ervil was a bad man. They should have taken the R out of his first name, Ervil, and just made it evil, because that's what he was. He was a very bad, evil person, and he scared that family to death. The entire family was trying to deal with this insane idiot who killed some people, including his own daughter. Okay, his daughter was standing up against him, and he had her strangled in his presence. The family was not going along with this insane nincompoop. They were very much against it. They were victims of crime. They aren't part of a violent history family. That was a real distortion on the part of the LA Times and the New York Post and everybody else who's done it. I've really been surprised about some people who tweeted this story out even. I've really lost a lot of respect for a lot of these people, considering the tragedy that's happened here. Didn't even bother looking at history. They could have called me. But at any rate, so just those two things I want to reiterate again. This proves that they're trying, that the news media, again, is in cahoots with the deep state and the IC, trying to distort the truth on everything that will bring any focus on the problems in Mexico, illegal immigration, and what? It protects Nancy Pelosi, Dianne Feinstein, and all those people in California, right, who have said, I think it was Nancy Pelosi's actual quote, MS-13 are God's children. Oh, yes, of course they are, but no mention of victims of their crimes. Well, if they are God's children, they wouldn't be acting that way, and they need taken out in a war against them. And that's how I stand on it today. And that goes also for the cartels. He's talking about a war on the drug cartels, but if he thinks he's going to get the cooperation of Obrador, he's totally incorrect. I don't believe he really believes that. I've already called it. Special operations forces should go in there and wipe these things out. Oh, will there be other people to rise in their place? Yeah, and then they need to be wiped out. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to end here before I make one more announcement on tonight. I don't know if most of you folks know Paul Ferber. Paul Ferber was the board owner for CBTS, the Cloud Before the Storm, on 4chan. And then they moved to 8chan, and he was booted off. Now, you know, Paul Ferber was pushing the Q thing. He still has a lot of, he's still very much into that. Okay, very much into the Q thing. However, I have a lot of respect for Paul. He is in South Africa. He's very knowledgeable on the attempt at white genocide in South Africa and all that's gone there. He's been very nice to keep in contact with me. I haven't talked to him lately. However, if you have Twitter, I want you to go at Paul Ferber. That's at capital Paul. I think it's an underscore and then Furber. But anyway, look up Paul Ferber. You'll know it because, well, anyway, just see if you can find it. I should have gotten the exact handle, but that's it. Now, why am I bringing Paul Ferber up? Again, he has these ties to the Q phenomenon, and there have been other fictitious and pretend accounts that have come up to pretend to be these same people. Okay, so I'm not actually advocating that Paul Ferber is right on everything. I'm not saying that. However, he is now quoting another come-upper in this anonymous thing, and I shouldn't even repeat it here, but I guess I will. It's I'll just say it, Big Dick Anon. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I've cussed worse than that before, but he has apparently this supposed insider again. Now it's interesting that Paul has kind of gotten away a little bit from Q. He'll still quote it when it applies, but Q was so wrong on so many things. You know, for instance, just a lot of things. And not saying that intelligence information isn't fluid and it can change from time to time, but there were some really bad basic problems with Q. Well, I'm not saying this Anon that he's quoting now is a whole lot better. Thanks, Valor. Yes, I hope you are too. However, it's a very long thread. It's probably and I'm not much for thread of tears on Twitter. Okay, I think it's kind of crazy, but he talks about this Anon who is saying, okay, and I'm just putting this out for what it's worth. I don't mean to put out hopium. You know, I don't mean to give you, some grandiose idea that things are going to turn around because I still have problems with Barr. Okay, but the information is apparently there's going to be a big shakeup as the House moves to its impeachment stuff prior to Thanksgiving. That Trump apparently, again, I don't mean to spread hopium, but let's just see if it happens, that there are going to be some real fireworks prior to them getting to their final movements in the Congress, in the House of Representatives on this thing, that there's going to be a literal explosion of activity by the executive branch to go after the traitors and seditionists and criminals. I don't know that that's true. But if you go read this Twitter thread by Paul Ferber again, it might be of interest to you. And Paul, again, he has been on the money on a lot of things. Okay, more so than a lot of other people. I have a lot of respect for many of the thread of tears, the conservative treehouse, and Well, they're actually a .com, but those folks and some others. But in this situation, I think it would be probably behoove you to just look at what Paul Ferber is saying. So I wanted to bring those up. This is a really rough time. Uh, the types of distortions, lies, disinformation, false witness, etc., that is going on against so many people right now by these evil people that control the MSM and the intelligence community, and of course, members of our government, uh, should awaken you to the realization of how serious this is. And frankly, I would go along with Trump, as I've said before, invoking the Insurrection Act and going after everyone from Supreme Court justices to senators to Congress people to bureaucracy heads, 2 tiers down, and hang them all from lampposts if there are enough of them in this country. That's how far I would be willing to go on this. And I'm a peaceful guy until you push my buttons. Okay? So let's see, and hopefully some things happen here. Um, and we'll find out. Okay. Let me go through some of the chat here. I'm going to go back to the beginning, and I've still got my computer out. It's hot, like I said, it's hardwired into the modem, and it's still not helping. So I don't know what the heck's going on. I noticed I don't follow him, but Dave Hodges in the comedy show, I noticed he's having a great deal of technical difficulties, very similar to what I'm having, and it appears to be in the OBS, but it's not. And it appears to be in the internet line. It's not. I don't know what it is. I noticed that it's very sensitive to location, so that could be something pretty significant there. But I've had some people, by the way, DM me on Twitter and also say some things in the chat and the comments, and I appreciate it. Different technical things that I could try to overcome this. However, I'm not. It's not that I couldn't do them. It's just that I find out that no matter what I do, it just seems to still be a problem. I know there's some like amplifiers you can use and things like that. But at any rate, I might just have to stop doing everything from this location altogether. Okay, well, let's go back down through here. Hello again, everybody, as you came in. Doesn't that make ABC complicit to the crime? ABC. Oh, ABC. That worked. The people that made the decision, yeah, to cover it up. Uh, um, there are some legal issues that I don't know that I could address on that, but certainly they had evidence that was substantial and they covered it up. You would think that the people that made those decisions may have some culpability. And this big dick anon that Paul Ferber's talking about is saying that what they have done that are, I guess, getting ready to pounce. So who they are, I have no idea. Again, I don't want to give out hopium, but they are, according to this guy, they are going to be picking up some members of the MSM. And I would say, just from my experience, that would be totally proper under the circumstances, totally proper. Complex sorcery, I know there will be no indictments, no trials for treason. I understand. I feel the same way. It should have happened long before this. And as I've quoted other people, autograph others, they're saying there won't be. And if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, then what I did today, do you remember the background I had with the eagle and the cabin in the wilderness? We're on our own, and we're going to have to fight through this on ourselves. Just stay in the defensive mode, okay? Don't go the other way. Don't go offensive. That'll be a big mistake. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I don't trust Edelson James. I know Dershowitz is a problem. I know. I understand that. Yeah, I know I know Gina was the CIA station chief in London. She knows what's going on. She's as culpable in this as everybody else is. Who knows? Yeah, Kennedy spoke. If secret proceedings, secret behind closed doors, it's all unconstitutional. Absolutely true, true, true. Thank you, Louisa. I always appreciate your comments too. Yeah, I know, Lee and Rory Steele. You're right, absolutely. Sick people are there, and not as getting much done to prevent it. And the sickness, the virus of this leftist, Marxist, progressive, evil, Luciferian uh, uh, hatred of mankind is spreading. I understand. And, I'm still hurting from what happened there in Mexico the other day because, like I said, I know these people, and they are not what they've been painted to be by the media, even alt media, who didn't look at this thing far enough. I'm just appalled at what's happened here. But you know what? That's a microcosm of what they're going to do to us. They're going to do the same thing when they start wiping out conservative Americans. If they get power, it'll all be the same thing, that we had these bad connections. If you knew somebody, if you had somebody in your family 2, 3 generations ago that was involved in the Valentine Day massacre, they're going to accuse you of being, bad and take you out. That's where this thing is going, and that's the tragedy of it all. Okay, yeah, Mitt Romney is related to whom? Be careful there, Kyla Cartwright. I don't know what you're referring to. If you're talking about the people in Mexico, a lot of Mormons have Mexican relatives or people that moved to Mexico. And the history gets too complicated to explain, other than to say that some of it was colonies in Mexico to be, like missionaries. And then others were fleeing from the church in the state of Utah who wanted to persecute them because they didn't go along with the leaders of the church here in following the doctrine, the original stuff, and they were persecuted for it. And the power of the state was used to enforce the LDS church dogma. And that's the problem here, okay? And it's still going on. Yeah, Jimmy Meeks, I know. Trump would never act. You would think normal person would try to defend themselves. I know, I know. Why hasn't he? Okay, all right. Well, we're stuck right now anyway, so we're just going to watch and see. One of the things that Paul Ferber did and I know that Trump has quoted Sun Tzu. I know he has. I just don't know if he really understands it. Okay, but it does say and he quotes a portion there where Sun Tzu says, I can't look at it because I've got my phone tied up, but he says, you just you hold back, and then you strike hard when they least expect it. And I understand that kind of a process, but the thing is look where Roger Stone is right now. This entire court thing has been set up against him with deep state operatives. The judge, the jurors, the prosecutors. Look at this. There is no justice in the United States anymore. It's a joke. Yeah, why no action to protect his presidency? I agree. I agree. Like I said, unfortunately, we're in a position we just have to watch and wait. Field and Stream, why can't you be one of the good guys in your CIA office? hey, they, hey, they. All I'll tell you is that they didn't want me. Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. They didn't want me because they knew where I stood. That I wouldn't go along with all this stuff they're doing. Okay, that's all I can tell you. All right. JFK Jr. is coming back. Jeff Richard Lease. No, I'm afraid that ain't true, but I'm sure that's just a joke on your part. Okay. Be up that we need to keep track of here. Bush recruited Barr into the CIA. You're talking about the senior Bush. Yeah. And that whole thing with the Dalton School in New York and Epstein's involvement in it. And of course, Barr's father was the president of it at one time. Yeah. And they're all connected. You're right. That's why I have so many problems with Barr. I do. And then to see all this stuff progress or not progress. Someone should have been taken out by now as far as um, being arrested. Somebody. Edelson James, I understand why you're saying it. Take Paul Ferber with a grain of salt. I understand. I understand what you're saying. However, I have talked to him personally, okay? Personally, one on one. And, I mean, in one way you could say, he's kind of like those of us who listen to Trump or those of us who listen to Pompeo. By the way, Pompeo finally pointed out what? That there are people in our government that have assisted the Chinese, but he won't say whom. Did you notice that the other day? They need to start pointing out who did that. The Clintons, the Bushes, they need to start naming names. But at any rate, I understand what you're saying about Paul, but I have to give them. I mean, at least he's not cultic. He's not so adamant about his position that he's willing to send somebody to your house and beat you up. You know what I mean? Sort of like some of the others. So I get this information from many sources. I even listen to the MSM occasionally. It's just that when they're talking, it's like you got to have your high grade filter on. The highest absolute micron you can get. Are there good people in the IC? Yeah, sure there are. The thing is that like this ABC reporter, Robach, if you don't act, you're complicit. Silence is agreement, and that's the problem. And they all say, well, and I agree, you have to come from a position of strength, but at the same time, inaction, total inaction, is complicity, okay, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Okay. I think we better go. I'd love to go through this, but I want to get ready for some other things. Alex is probably going to cover some stuff that I want to hear this morning. I got to get ready for the live stream. So I will end here. Thank you all for coming. Wow, there's a lot here, and I'd love to go through this entire thing. But let me say, I appreciate you. I'm again sorry for the technical problems. I'm beginning to think it is an attack of some sort. But at any rate, we will have a live stream tonight where we're going to talk about unseen realities. It'll be a past discussion on the paranormal. It'll be a discussion on the evidence that proves we are very much surrounded by entities we cannot see. Who are they? Why are they here? So join us for information, education, and entertainment. It will be a very, very lively nightcap, okay? It's at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, thereabouts, okay, of course. It's not an exact time, but it should be right around in there. And I'll get the notification back up the countdown clock right away, okay? All right. Hey, everybody, thanks for everything. We'll see you tonight. Out for now.